After describing the events leading to double fertilization, its resulting products, and its significance in the plant physiology, let's quickly begin with the post-fertilization structures and events. Here, we shall discuss the different post-fertilization structures and events one by one. First, we shall begin with the endosperm. Coming to the endosperm development precedes embryo development. The primary endosperm cell divides repeatedly to form a triploid endosperm tissue. The cells of this tissue are filled with reserve food material that provides nourishment to the growing embryo. The most common type of endosperm development involves successive nuclear divisions of the primary endosperm nucleus to form many free nuclei. This stage of endosperm development is called free nuclear endosperm. Subsequently, cytokinesis forms membranes and walls between the nuclei and makes the endosperm more solid. One more interesting fact about the endosperm is endosperm may either be completely consumed by the developing embryo before seed maturation, as in pea, groundnut, beans, or may persist in the mature seed and used up during germination, commonly found in castor, coconut, etc. After the endosperm, let's begin with the embryo. Embryo is basically a diploid young sporophyte formed as a result of fertilization. Now, coming to the stages of the embryo development, which is also called embryogeny, embryo develops at the micropylar end of the embryo sac where the zygote is situated. Most zygotes divide only after certain amount of endosperm is formed. This adaptation primarily provides assured nourishment to the developing embryo. Firstly, the zygote gives rise to the proembryo and subsequently forms globular, heart-shaped and mature embryo. Now let's discuss about the structure of a typical dicot embryo. Typically, a dicot embryo includes an embryonal axis and two cotyledons. Remember, two cotyledons. The portion of the embryonal axis above the level of cotyledons is the epicotyle, which terminates with the plumule or the stem tip, while the cylindrical portion below the level of cotyledons is called the hypocotyle, that terminates at its lower end in the radicle or tip. The root tip is covered with a protective sheath called the root cap. After discussing the structure of a typical dicot embryo, let's move on to the structure of a monocot embryo. Unlike dicot embryos, monocot embryos contain only one cotyledon. In the grass family, the cotyledon is called scutellum and is located laterally to the embryonal axis. At its lower end, the embryonal axis has the radicle and root cap enclosed in an undifferentiated sheath called coliorhiza. The portion of the embryonal axis above the level of attachment of scutellum is called the epicotyle. Epicotyle has a shoot apex and a few leaf primordia enclosed in a hollow leaf-like structure called coleoptile. So with this, we have completed the structure and development of the dicot and monocot embryo. Now let's quickly move on to the next post-fertilization structure formed, the seed. So, what is a seed? In angiosperms, seed is the final product of sexual reproduction. It is a fertilized ovule formed inside fruits. Typically, a seed consists of one or two integuments or seed coat, cotyledons and an embryo axis. Mature seeds may be non-albuminous or albuminous. Non-albuminous seeds have no residual endosperm as it is completely consumed during embryo development, commonly found in pea or groundnuts, while albuminous seeds retain a part of endosperm as it is not completely used up during embryo development, commonly found in maize, wheat, barley, castor, sunflower, etc.